Good morning. Good morning. Oh, what a robust and wonderful good morning. I'm Rev.Robin Tanner. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm a member of your lead ministry team, just returning after a 7-week sabbatical, and I am so grateful to be back for the time that I had and to see your wonderful, and I know your smiling faces in front of me because it's all in the eyes, isn't it? Your smiling faces. Thank you so much for joining us this day. If you are joining us and you're in need of visual descriptions, I am a nearly middle-aged white woman wearing a green, white, and black dress with a black blazer and some fabulous gold earrings. If this is your first time with us, beloved, or your 100,000th time, I don't know if that's possible, I haven't done the math, we welcome you to Beacon, a Unitarian Universalist congregation in Summit, New Jersey, on the lands of the Lenni Lenape. If you've arrived burdened by the weight of the world, or perhaps you're entering with a song on your heart, we welcome you as you are. We are a beacon because we show up, each one of us. We show up even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. We show up to magnify the light. If you'd like to learn more about this community and how to help magnify the light, then we invite you to our connecting session today at 11:30 up in the library. We will also have a virtual session on September 8th at 7 p.m. We are so glad you are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Beacon.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I will read our chalice lighting. Out of the uncertainty that can be our lives, emerging from the fog of an early morning, or the haze of worry or sorrows about our shoulders, emerges the light. A flash, a flicker, a single spark into flame that spells out hope, joy, love rekindled. Over here, the fire says, gather around. Let us journey and share this life once more.
Amazing grace, shall always be my song of praise. For it was grace that bought my liberty. I do not know just how love came to know me so. Love looked into my heart and saw my needs. And I shall forever lift my head in thanks to thee, to thank my God for all that's done for me. How marvelous that grace that caught my falling soul. Love looked into my heart and saw my needs. And I shall forever lift my head in thanks to thee, to thank my God for all that's done for me. How marvelous the grace that caught my falling soul. Love looked into my heart. Love looked into my heart. Love looked into my heart and saw my needs.
Jackie Jones, after over 2 years. John, who's been away for a month. Oh my goodness, we needed you. Thank you. Thank you. What a beautiful. Love looked into my heart and saw my need. I feel like someone just looked into my heart and saw my need. Well, I am sure that you are curious a little bit about what happened across these 7 weeks. And so you can imagine that I might have a few stories to share. I'm going to share one, if that's okay, with you now. It was a brilliant idea, beloved. Rent an RV from Outdoorsy, which is kind of like Airbnb, but for RVs. You rent directly from the owner and take an 11-day trip, all of us, my whole family, the twin 8-year-olds, the 16-year-old, my beloved spouse who is an avid camper, or once was, and our 4-year-old son, and travel from New Jersey to Pocahontas State Park in Richmond, Virginia, then on to a farm in Charlotte, North Carolina, then Cumberland Island in Georgia, and then Jacksonville, Florida, Raleigh, North Carolina, Harper's Ferry, and end our time in Maryland. About 2 months before our set departure, the Department of Child Protection and Permanency called us and asked if we would take a temporary placement of a 4-year-old little girl? We said yes. And as the time for the trip unfolded, it became apparent that we were all going together on this trip. So there we were in a 2013 Thor Motor Coach Chateau. 30 feet of unencumbered bliss. The trip was smooth and the campsites were frankly fabulous. They'd all been picked out by my spouse, and a lot of the places we went into, we rolled up and there were like $250,000 like BMW Class A RVs. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Like these big. There we were in our little 2013 Thor Coach Motor Chateau. Living on hot dogs, watermelon slices, and the open road. There was only one episode of a child who threw up on me. I thought that was pretty good. Only one pair of lost shoes. It was a fantastic trip. But 7 days into our journey, we were in Florida and realized we really badly needed new laundry. So after a day of swimming, I told Anne-Marie, my beloved, and Elias, our oldest, go to the laundromat. I've got the 4 littles. How hard could it be? We're in the chateau. So I put on Jumanji in the small little screen, and we started watching a movie, when suddenly there was a knock at the door. A little unusual. I opened the door, and there was a small child about 5 years old, big round eyes, barefoot, dusty, peering at me. Can they come out and play? Now, I am an inclusive, welcoming person. I have a sign on my lawn that says, your neighbor, and delineates all the ways we should love our neighbor. And so I looked at this friendly 5-year-old child and panicked. The setting that we were in was unlike all the other campsites. It was not filled with $250,000 Class A RVs. It was mostly small, rusted out campers that you wondered if they could really get on the road hitched to 20-year-old trucks. There were makeshift tents attached to vans, and it was clear that some folks were living at this campsite. And so in my progressive, inclusive, welcoming mindset, I looked at this child, eager to play, and said, come back later. And shut the door. 30 minutes later, I heard. I opened the door, and again, this beloved child was there, now returning with 4 friends. All eagerly looking at me through the brush. You know that Florida brush, it looks like something out of a cartoon in elementary school of the Mesozoic era, you know? You're not just worried about gators, you're pretty sure like a brontosaurus is around the corner. They were eager to come and play, and once again the child repeated the question, can they come out and play? At this point, they had piqued the interest, and the children were starting to clamor around me to look, and I said, 30 minutes, the movie's not done yet, and closed the door again. I hoped that in 30 minutes Anne-Marie would be back and would somehow save me from this friendly, welcoming experience. But 30 minutes came and went, and like clockwork, I heard it again. I opened the door once more. But this time, Benjamin was ready with a football move. And so as I started to stutter, he dove his way over me onto the sandy ground and said, let's play. And then Ari, the little girl placed in our care, said, park, 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 park. and would not stop until I relented and got out of the RV. At this point, our 8-year-old twins also came out, though Kirk, who had noted that in our travels things were looking different, right? Churches on every corner, billboards for Jesus, and Kirk at one point said, "Why are people so friendly here?" Bless our hearts. Kirk, the cautious one, said, "Mom, Mom, Mom." And then a woman appeared walking down the road, everyone barefoot, and said, "Don't worry, Izzy's got them. She'll watch them. They just want to play tag." And I couldn't say anything because they had already paired up, olders with little kids, and disappeared into the Jurassic brush. Soon behind the woman, I noticed a little girl was toddling behind her with an amber teething necklace on. She was in diapers. And the woman gestured toward the baby and said, "This is joy." As I panicked and looked around for my children, she said, "You just got here, right?" Yes, I said. "Well, welcome, y'all. Are y'all travelers too?" Travel with me in our service as we find out together how we might answer that question.
Good morning, Beacon. Good morning. My name is Mia. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a chaplain here at Beacon. Chaplains extend the spiritual care of our community. One ritual of spiritual care is our community candle lighting. Together, we light candles of joy, sorrow, and gratitude. This morning, we light a candle of mourning for the death of our brilliant, beautiful Beacon sister, Rosemary Levine. May she rest in peace. We love and miss you. A candle for what the World Health Organization's Director General, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, calls the worst humanitarian crisis in the world in the Tigray region of Ethiopia. Let us hold up the mirror and begin to send humanitarian aid to our brown-skinned siblings as we freely give to our siblings in the Ukraine. A warm congratulations to Tanya Saluga and her husband as they welcome their first child on August 8th, baby Callie Jane. We can't wait to meet you, Callie Jane. For this and so much more, we invite you to come forward now to light a candle here in our sanctuary or wherever you are, maybe on your home altar. Thank you.
We invite you, beloved, as well to join in singing with us as we sing together hymn 299 in your gray hymnal, Make Channels for the Streams of Love.
Make channels for the streams of love where they may broadly run, and love has overflowing streams to fill them everyone. But if at any time we cease such channels to provide, For we must share if we would keep this gift or else above. We cease to give, we cease to have. Such is the law of love. For we must share if we would keep this gift or else above. We cease to give, we cease to have. Such is the law of love. Such is the law of love.
Good morning again. I'm going to try to lead us for a few minutes into a brief mindfulness meditation moment. And in order to get ready for it, take a comfortable but firm position in your chair. If you want to, let your eyes gaze or gently close your eyes. Uncross your legs. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your body and your back supported by your chair or wherever you're sitting. And try to take this position that you can be in for the next few minutes. And we're going to jointly try to do something that in a way is super easy. For the next few minutes, we're going to just be. If it helps you, feel free to focus on your breath. Just the simple rhythm of breathing in and breathing out. Observe it, notice it, do it consciously, breathe with purpose. At the same time, we're all going to try to do something that is incredibly hard, and that is to just be, to only be, to be right here in this place and nowhere else, to be right here in this present moment and no other time, because this present moment is our present. And we're going to try to control that mind of ours that is so powerful, that constantly is buzzing with ideas every living moment of the day. that has this incredible imagination to transport us to any place and any time. And we're going to notice if our mind wanders, because it will wander. It's okay. The only thing we do if we feel our thoughts wandering, the only thing we do is we notice it. It's like, I was yesterday, I was next year, I was at home, I was at work, I was at the beach. And we simply notice it. We center back on our breath, and we come back to this place, and we come back to this time. And as we do this, we also try to open our heart and our mind and our senses to observe. We start by observing ourselves, our body, our breath, our physical state, our mental state. We do a quick self-check and we observe. We also observe the world around us. We heighten our senses, maybe the little noise we hear, the little creak, little car passing by. We observe the world around us. And finally, we observe each other. Now, our eyes may be closed and we cannot see each other. We might not be able to hear each other, but we can feel each other. We can feel that human bond. We can feel the love. We can feel the joy. We can feel that we are part of this human fabric. And we try to connect to the larger humanity around us. We feel it. Again, we feel the joy, the kindness, the love. We feel the fabric that we are part of, the fabric that we give to, and the fabric that we receive from. And as we do this, we try deep inside to connect to a sense of gratefulness. We say thank you to this human fabric. We say thank you to this time and this place. We say thank you to each other. And finally, we say thank you to ourselves. We'll take a few more deep breaths. Center in this moment. Center in this feeling. Center in this gratitude. And then we can gently bring our attention back to this place. We can open our eyes. We can look around. We can let our minds wander again if we so choose to. Thank you.
Thank you, Wim. We are fortunate to have gifted worship associates co-leading with us and chaplains like Mia. Thank you. Nancy Seuss was supposed to be with us this day to call for our offering and share her story. Nancy, who is co-lead of our stewardship team and who just tested positive for COVID-19. She's doing okay. And in her stead, Jen Scarta-McCann has graciously agreed to share Nancy's words.
Good morning. I'm Jen Scarter-McCann, speaking today for Nancy Seuss. Felt I should return the favor because someone took my spot 3 weeks ago when I had COVID. So, having COVID today, again, Nancy, would not ordinarily take me to being grateful. However, I was always the different one in my family of origin. I aimed high and was thrilled if I only got to 75% of my lofty goals versus their aiming low so as not to be frequently disappointed. I'm aware of how I have been blessed, grateful for each day and experience. Grateful for the vacation we had in upstate New York, grateful for the return to our home and my work, grateful for COVID, which is causing me to pause and slow down just a bit. It really is mild, thank goodness. Being grateful has opened a path to generosity. Being able to see others who need more, organizations that build people up, groups that provide much needed services and support, and people who dedicate their lives to doing good work. Generosity has been a discipline rather than a reaction. Where can I make the most difference? Which direction does the compass point? How can I help place more hope in people's lives? Funding programs like Summit Warm Hearts, advocating for social justice in multiple ways by opening our space and our hearts are solidly Beacon. For me, community group helped provide a feeling of being connected and heard during the pandemic. Virtual services let more of us participate as a community, even if we can't be here in person. The idea that helping our youth and children learn and grow with a wide lens gives me hope for the future. I've never experienced in any other spiritual community the high level of warmth and care evident in our worship services and with the chaplains who give of themselves. I see annual giving and stewardship at Beacon as one of the ways I can live into my generosity. By making a commitment to fund a certain amount, plans can be solidified and Beacon leadership can take action more confidently. This helps our existing programs to continue and new initiatives to develop. They are all empowered. Annual giving and our offerings fuel our mission. Be a beacon. Thank you.
Our morning offering will now be most gratefully received. Thank you, John. So I stood there holding that question, a little stunned. Are y'all travelers too? All I could think to say as I slapped a bug off my arm was, "We're from New Jersey?" "Oh," she said. Then, as if on cue, her partner pulled up in a golf cart. "Hey, the bathroom over by the playground is backed up, so I'm gonna head over to fix it." "Oh, hey." He barely made eye contact and then drove off. "That's Cal, my partner," she said. "He's from New Jersey, too." Somehow, I started to relax into the conversation, into the back and forth. And then she asked me to sit down. It was 95 degrees with 120% humidity, after all. Travelers, you see, meant folks who live on the road or who travel for an extended period of time, 6 months, 8 months, or more. She and Cal were there with their 6 kids. They were travelers. They were also the camp hosts, negotiating late check-ins, backed up bathrooms, all manner of welcome tasks that might arise when the park rangers were off duty. I opened a beer and offered her a drink. She took a seltzer. And we were there just starting to chat with one another as Anne-Marie and Elias pulled up around the circle. Anne-Marie rolled down the window. "Missing something?" Before she could answer and I could figure it out, Benjamin crawled into the front seat and said, "It's me, honey. It's me." I didn't have much of a defense for losing our 4-year-old son with a beer in my hand, relaxing. I'd seen Benjamin 5 minutes ago, just to be clear, but apparently that game of tag led him to the other side of the bathrooms where he could not find our campsite. So Anne-Marie just happened to pull in at that exact moment as he was in tears with a complete stranger, and she rescued him from my poor parenting. I think she trusts me. We're working on it. That night, as I listened to the snores of 3 out of 7 of our RV inhabitants and the sleep mumbling of 2 others, I sat and paused for a moment. I realized suddenly how off my radar had become. My ability to discern who was a friend, who was just waiting to connect. Only weeks prior, I had stopped using social media and had stopped watching MSNBC and CNN and all of the cable news. I realized that my world had become so small because of these devices and apps and outlets. They had guided my mornings, distorted my days, and filled my nights with a sense that the world was hopeless and doomed. I had the sense that there was a war emerging and there are distinct sides, and one had to be hyper alert all the time. I was leading my life, and I was leading here, if I'm honest, from a place of fear. Have you all ever felt this? In that moment with this perfectly wonderful stranger with joy incarnate, I recognized how distorted my view of the world and of my human siblings had become. You know, there's a parable about a hunter that goes something like this. You may have heard it before. There's a hunter in the woods at winter time, and he hears a little bird, and he realizes as he comes upon it that it's a fledgling, and he doesn't think it's going to make it in the cold temperatures. And so, thinking quickly, he places the bird inside of his vest to warm the bird up. But as he goes on into the woods, he realizes he can't take the bird with him for the whole day, and he's going to have to find somewhere to put the bird that he can come back to. And that is when he comes upon a large pile of, well, you know what. It's been freshly deposited by some creature, and it's warm. You didn't think this is where the sermon was going, but one never really knows. And seeing this warmth, he takes the bird and places it in the doo-doo, and then goes on. Well, the bird starts to come even more to life, feeling that warmth, and is so grateful for being warm that the bird starts to sing this glorious song of gratitude. And it echoes out throughout the woods, and it is heard by a nearby fox who sweeps in and in one bite pulls the bird from that pile. The moral of this horrible, disgusting story, it is not always your enemy who places you in it. And it's not always your friend who pulls you out. And for God's sakes, when you're up to hearing it, don't sing. Sometimes our ability to discern who is a friend, who is a beloved, who has the best of intentions, with whom we could connect and close the circle or widen the circle, sometimes our discernment is very broken. Sometimes our ability to perceive kind of gets backed into the amygdala, that, Mesozoic type place, right? And we turn inward, not just to strangers, sometimes to people we know well. One word or one action pulls us away, and we have concluded that they are on the no-go list. On Friday, we got to meet distant relatives who have emerged to care for the little girl who was placed in our care at the beginning of the summer. Truthfully, we were very wary of them. We couldn't imagine that they had the best of intentions. We couldn't imagine that they would be equipped to care for her. We couldn't imagine that they were good people. Of course, we were sad for ourselves, but we were also worried for her, and it made us suspicious. Well, we couldn't have been more wrong. After they left our home, I looked at my wife and said, well, damn it. They are loving people trying to do the right thing. I know, she said. And we began the process of supporting the move of this little girl from our home to theirs as best we can over the coming weeks. The big culture out there would have us believe that we are in this war, the sides are already decided, and things are getting perpetually worse. That we have to be on this high alert and close off our lives to a very small circle. At our worst, okay, my worst, I suppose I move with a certain hubris that I have the answers, that I am superior at inclusivity, welcoming, enlightenment. But this isn't the truth. The truth emerges in nature, in passing one another, in pausing, even here, with someone you think you know oh so well. In getting out of our own way sometimes to see that there is more joy and more love in this world and more beauty than we could ever possibly comprehend. And yet it is worth every ounce of our lives of trying to comprehend it, to embrace it, to let it flow through us. After 7 days and over 1,000 miles, I found on a sandy Jurassic campsite that I had lost faith with love. But beloved, we are fortunate because love and joy are ever faithful companions, ready and waiting, right there. I'm working on fixing my radar, of traveling with joy, of opening to the world once more, and I hope you'll join me on that journey, of saying yes, yes, dear ones, as you swing wide open the doors. We'd love to come out and play.
Some say the walls between us stand so tall, but they don't see there's just one sun shining on us all. I say we each choose roads to call our own, 'cause none of us is traveling through this universe alone. And this circle just goes on and on. It began before us, and it will be here when we're gone. Yes, this circle just goes on and on and on, connecting our humanity, joining me to you and you to me. Seasons keep spinning on the wheels of time. We stand, we fall, we travel up the mountains we will climb. Different dreams may color what we see ahead, but our lives are strung together on a common thread. Yes, this circle just goes on and on. It began before us, it will be here when we're gone. Yes, this circle just goes on and on and on. One day you will come to see I'm joined to you and you to me. Around and round and round and round we go. Round and round and round we go. Yes, this circle touches everyone as it crosses every boundary underneath the sun. Yes, this circle just goes on and on and on, touching every boundary underneath the sun. Yes, this circle just goes on and on and on. One day you will come to see I'm joined to you and you to me.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, John. Thank you, beloved, for bringing your light this day. It shines. Indeed, travel with joy, beloved.
Until we meet again, seek out the good, hold fast to the beauty.
Cherish the questions and make of those you encounter a map, the circle going on and on.
A constellation of what yet can be when we lead with love. Listen with a full heart.
And welcome joy in our midst once more. Blessed be.